Hi, welcome to Small Business Development Center at Daytona State College. The Small Business Development Center has been in Florida since 1976. We are a network of consultants who provide consulting services to small businesses to help them grow and succeed. We not only provide consulting services in the areas of business plan, marketing, social media, cybersecurity, a business model canvas, or key performance indicators, all the tools which will help you grow and succeed, but also we provide training. And these trainings are based on the latest insights and the research that we get, which is needed for the businesses to grow and succeed. In the end, I would like to say, enjoy this version of our training program. Let us know if there are some improvement areas that we need to do it. I hope that if you need further assistance and help, please come to Small Business Development Center here at the Daytona State College, or you can go to www.sbdcdaytona.com. Thank you.
Well, good morning and welcome everybody here. This we and Michael we deliberated for like last 2-3 months. We wanted to have one of the social media. The reason for this was there was a lot of demand that came to the small business that we need to have a presence in social media, how we can do it. But this is also very important. For the first time, we are launching this program through webinar. As the director of the Small Business Development Center and my team, we thought it was important that we need to reach out as many small businesses as possible because we are in the business of making impact on the small business. A couple of things before Michael will start talking about the social media. The first thing that we have to see is that, just taking an example, I was talking to a pest control company, and when we did the analysis, there were like 107 pest control companies in Volusia County, and all of them have a presence on social media. The thing is, the point that I'm going to emphasize is, just having a presence on social media, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, does not mean that your business will be successful. What it means is that unless you are not able to differentiate yourself, highlight your strength on the social media, and focus on what the problem you're trying to solve, and if it is not connected with the clients, then it's impossible for you to get the traction that you're having. A couple of other things is take advantage of the social media by understanding the consumer insights. There are a lot of consumers who would like to talk about that this product is not good, not relevant. Apologize to them. Talk about how you're going to rectify it, how you plan to change the game from your end. And also see what the consumers are talking about, whether it's different blogs. This will give you a good understanding about what are the relevance of the customer segments and how it is relevant to you. Lastly, make sure that you build into a customer experience. So when they go into social media, at least they are able to get some good information. They are able to stay there. Then it will lead to some conversion. Having just a presence, putting up a social media Facebook account with some pictures thrown in, will in fact be detrimental to your business. So focus on the differentiation, focus on customer experience, and focus on the consumer insights. How it will all be done, Michael is going to talk about. And lastly, I would also say that, we at Small Business Development Center, we provide free consulting. So if you need how to actually build a social media strategy, how you can build a marketing plan or a sales plan, how to track more customers. In fact, we have a lot of database that we can do analysis. We can go down to the zip code and identify that kind of, the benchmarking, the new competition that you have, and where you stand. So after this, please fill up this form, give us your feedback, but don't hesitate to contact the Small Business Development Center for further consulting, and I will see you back again. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm going to hold this so that our online guests, the video feed is frozen. Okay, we're going to let that go. They can still see the screen though, right? So good morning, everybody. Good morning. Okay, we got to bring it up. I know it's a little early, but good morning, everybody. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate the opportunity to share with you some tips and tricks for your social media efforts. We're going to go through a lot. We've got 2 hours. Feel free to stop me. I want this to be very fluid. Ask me questions right when they come to your mind, or write them down and we'll get to them later. But we've got a lot to cover, and as you can tell, I'm managing not only the group that's here in person, but also the group that's online. So we'll work through that. And then again, this is, as George mentioned, the first time we've done this. So if we have a little bit of technical difficulties, it's okay. We're going to keep moving forward and we're going to get through it. So social media is what we're here to talk about today, right? And what is ultimately part of our goal? All of us as business owners want to get more visibility. We want to get more leads. We want to get more phone calls, more potential customers coming through the door to visit our establishments and take advantage of our services. And that's going to lead to what we all hope is making more money, right? So we can invest back in our companies, invest in our employees, and do great things. So we're going to talk about this platform and how social media will enable us to do that. But in the work that I've done in this industry, what I've really found is it all starts with a plan, right? If you've got the plan and you understand what you're trying to do with social media and who you're trying to reach, you can be very effective. But if you're attempting to go out there without a plan and just sort of see what works, what doesn't work, that's a little bit more dangerous and will use your time and resources possibly ineffectively. So again, part of my goal today is to make sure that you walk away with a plan to go back and enact right away on your social media efforts or to improve what you're currently doing. So what's the program look like over the next 2 hours, okay? We're going to go through what is and isn't social media. I understand some folks in the room, first time getting engaged with these platforms. Other folks that are already participated in social media programs, have pages out there. I want to bring a level playing ground for everybody by talking about what is and what isn't social media. We're going to go through some platforms to show you where people are gravitating towards, and we'll even get into a little bit of conversation about millennials. That's been a question I get all the time is how do I reach more millennials? I want to engage with millennials in my business. And we'll talk about where they're going and what they're using. We'll get, again, a plan for starting and moving forward. You will walk out of here with a plan today. In addition, I'm going to share with you content development ideas. So if you're wondering what are the types of things that I should be posting on social media and why should I be posting them, again, I'm going to share with you the exact ideas that I integrate every single day with the clients and customers that I work with. I will tell you about the tools that I use. This is supposed to be a very practical workshop where, again, you're leveraging the knowledge that I have in the industry so that you can apply it directly in your business. We'll talk about a posting schedule and budget. What does it look like? How do I get started? What time should I post? What time shouldn't I post? We'll get into that. Then we will actually go through a live demo. I will take you onto Facebook. We're going to do a little bit of how do you create your page, how do you create a custom campaign, and a whole bunch of other things. So we got a lot to cover and 2 hours to do it. And my question is, are you with me? Are you going to stick with me? Okay, good, good. Emily, please as well. If there are any questions coming through the web, let me know. Is the phone good? We hearing? Okay. Okay, so a little bit about me. Who's this guy up here talking to me about social media and why should I listen to him? Okay, so I'm Michael Zaharias. I'm very honored for the opportunity from the Small Business Development Center to present to you all today. But I'm born and raised in Volusia County. I love Volusia County, but I'm also a Florida guy, and I love the state of Florida. And so the more we can do to enable entrepreneurs and business owners to be successful in Volusia County, that makes it better for everybody, both businesses and individuals living here. I was very fortunate to go to UCF and get a master's degree from them in business. So I've studied a lot of principles, a lot about marketing, and I've got the education to back it up. Entrepreneurship's all I know. My family's been in business for as long as I can remember. I've grown up in entrepreneurship. I have several companies myself. I'm involved in several projects. Some of you in the room probably know that I'm a part of, the 1 Million Cuts program that happens every week on Wednesday mornings. I run the Florida Virtual Entrepreneur Center. We do a lot with broadcasting entrepreneurs. But the purpose of that is so that I can keep a solid understanding on what are the needs and wants of business owners. If I'm not involved in the business world, I don't think I can tell you effectively what I think you should be doing. So it's my purpose and passion to be a business owner so I can talk what I believe is effectively to you as business owners yourselves. And ultimately, what does that all come down to? It's all about helping people. At the end of the day, I'm not here to sell myself or my services to you. I'm here to help you be successful with your social media efforts. So this is not a plug for Synergy Social Media at all. This is a plug for all of you going out and being even better with your social media efforts. So let's dive in. What isn't social media, right? And I think we're all used to these traditional marketing and advertising channels, whether it be radio, television, newspaper. The thing about these, and these are all great platforms. You hear a lot of conversations about companies and people moving away from these platforms. Should I still use these platforms? And what I say is yes. You need to understand who your target customer is, and if your target customer is reading the newspaper every day, you need to advertise in there. That's who you want to get to. So these platforms are still very extremely effective in their ability to deliver your message and get you in front of the audience that you want to get in front of. The challenge that we find is that this bullet right here, they're all one-way communication channels. So if someone, you put out a radio advertisement and somebody comes in and tells you they heard you on the radio, you just got some feedback in terms of an individual actually heard you. But how many people actually do that, right? It's a small percentage. And so you're not necessarily aware, is the radio advertisement that I just did effective? Was it effective? Who did it reach? Who didn't it reach? Again, it's that one-way communication channel. So it's hard to get feedback here. It's hard to get feedback using these advertising vehicles. So flip the equation. What is social media? They're two-way communication channels where when you put content out there, the consumer marketplace has instant ability to tell you, we like the ad you're running, we like the promotion, we don't like it, we're happy with your product or service. And that's a way for you as a business owner to gauge if the efforts that you're doing are effective, right? So if somebody leaves you a negative review, that's insight for you to go back and apply in your business so that that doesn't happen again. And part of what you want to do in a situation like that is not ignore it. You don't ever want to ignore a negative review. You want to answer that review and offer to turn it into an opportunity, because retaining customers is very effective, and it's lower cost because they're already a part of being a part of your business. So anytime you can engage your customers, you definitely want to do that, even when it is a negative. But you've got a lot of different platforms that encompass social media, right? You've got blogs, you've got review websites, Facebook, the social networks. There are a lot of communication channels out there nowadays, and it's a lot to take in. But again, my goal is to help you get there with your plan. So some statistics, right? What is this whole thing about social media? Are people really using it? And the interesting thing about it is 53% of Americans who follow brands via social media platforms are more loyal to those brands. So when you think about customer retention, if you have a presence on social media and you're actively using it, it's a way for you to engage and retain your customers. Maybe they haven't visited your establishment. Maybe they dropped your service and are considering picking it back up. Using these platforms and these marketing channels will help you retain those customers. Mobile is extremely important, probably one of the most important topics we will cover today. The world, as we all know, is gravitating towards these devices and other similar devices, right? Our smartphones, our iPads. And the statistics show that 12 new mobile users are added every second related to social media programs, and that's over 1 million per day. So over 1 million people per day are downloading social media applications and using them on their mobile devices. And that's where the content, and you'll see as we go through the presentation, where people are accessing from, where they're coming in, how they're using the platforms. So what about advertising, right? Where are advertisers putting their money? Are they moving into social media? And the truth is they are. Social networks earned $8.3 billion in advertising in 2015. That was up 13% from a year ago. So it's small businesses, it's medium-sized businesses, it's large businesses who are reallocating their marketing funds to social media programs. And of course, the social media platforms are benefiting from that, but it's also an opportunity for all of us to benefit using their platforms to reach the customers that we want to reach. So what does Facebook look like, right? This is who doesn't have a Facebook account, right? That's the more appropriate question. Just about all of us do. 968 million users, active users, every single day. Believe it or not, people spend 20 minutes on Facebook. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of eyeballs. You want to be there. You want to get in front of that. I get, this conversation a lot about the millennials I mentioned earlier. Are millennials still using Facebook? And the reality is they are. They're just not posting content on Facebook, but they still open Facebook to receive news and information. You want to be there so they can receive your news. About 40 million small business pages are set up. Again, look at that bottom bullet point there. 79% of users are accessing from a mobile device. So it's, again, a very critical component as you develop your plan or enhance the plan that you already have. Twitter. For a long time, I wasn't a big fan of Twitter. I never really understood the 140 characters and how do I get, my message in front of somebody. But what I realized after using it more is it's actually a very effective platform. And the reason why is that it is limited. And so you're not competing against somebody else putting a shorter post in front of yours or a longer post in front of yours. Everybody has the same 140 characters. And so from a user standpoint, I'm able to go through Twitter, or you are able to, very quickly because it is limited by that character count. So I grew to like it. And the neat thing about Twitter is that they also leverage hashtags. I would submit that of all social media platforms, if you're going to use hashtags as part of your marketing strategy, Twitter is the one that is most effective for those. Individuals can actually follow certain hashtags, and each time you post something that has that hashtag in it, they are notified by it. So it can be very effective. But again, you got to keep your message within that 140 character limit. Mobile users are more active than desktop. Again, you're going to see that coming through on just about every single one of these that we're going to talk about. Yes. Please.
Do you ever use Periscope?
Yeah. So great question. And Periscope is a live video feature that they have, and I have used it, and it's a great way to engage a broader network, right? If you want to show people a behind the scenes of maybe your manufacturing process, or how you do what you do in your business, it can be a great way to engage folks. Facebook has obviously attempted to steal some of that traffic by now offering the Facebook Live feature. So it is in many ways a competitor to Periscope, but Periscope is popular. You do see people signing in from all over the world and giving you hearts and different likes as your videos are going on. So you can use it if your business lends to developing content for that. And we're going to talk about that too, right? I get this question all the time, should I be on every social media platform that's out there? The answer, in my opinion, is no. You should be where your customers are. And if that means they're on 1 or 2 social media platforms, that's all you need to worry about. Why spread yourself across 10 when only 2 of them are effective? LinkedIn, this is the what I would consider the professionals network, or what they consider themselves. But this is where you're not posting necessarily pictures of your family or your vacation. This is the very professional network where you're sharing maybe news that's going on in your industry, things that you've been written up in journals, you've done white papers on certain subjects. This is where you would want to share that type of content. The neat thing here, about 13% of millennials use the platform. Also, 13% of LinkedIn users don't have a Facebook account. So there is a segment of folks who don't want to deal with all the things that come through on Facebook and are saying, just give me the professional stuff because that's all I care about. They don't even have a Facebook account. So again, understanding who your customer is and who you want to reach. If you want to reach executives, for example, they're going to be here. If you want to reach managers or directors within companies that could buy your products and services, they're very likely going to be here, and probably more likely to open something that's related to enhancing their business when it comes through LinkedIn versus Facebook, because again, that perception is, Facebook is more for enjoyment and pleasure. Here, you're providing direct benefit through business-related topics and content. Instagram has become one of my favorite social media platforms, and the reason for that, it is purely pictures. And I think that we would all agree it is far easier to look at pictures than to read long posts of text or to read articles. And so I'm not alone in that judgment, because it has the highest brand engagement of any social media platform that's out there. So that's users who are engaging with the content that's coming through the platform. Which one has the most user engagement? That's Instagram, because of the fact that it is purely built around pictures, right? It's very easy to engage. It's also where you will find the vast majority of millennials gravitating towards. They like to share photos about themselves, and selfies are very popular. So you'll see that there. The challenge that you have with this is there's no desktop version of Instagram, so you have to do all of your uploads through your mobile device. So you have to, get yourself accustomed to taking pictures with your phone and then uploading them through the Instagram app. You can visit Instagram on the desktop, but you just can't upload photos. Was there a question that came through?
What's your definition of engagement?
So that is people liking, commenting, sharing the content, not just scrolling through, right? We're all very used to, and the studies have shown, it's about 8 seconds that you have to grab somebody's attention when they're on this device right here. And so For 4.2% of all users that are on Instagram, they engage with those posts. 4% of the total user base engages. And it's the highest engagement rate. Facebook is around 1%. And you got to, again, think about your use of Facebook. When you go on Facebook, how many different things do you see? Some are long articles, some are short articles, some are pictures, some are videos, and those are all competing for our attention, right? Here, what Instagram has done really well is they've standardized it with purely images, and you know who picked up on that? Facebook, and they paid billions of dollars to own this social media platform. Facebook actually owns Instagram. They didn't rebrand it under Facebook. They left it alone because it's a great thing. Yelp, I like to talk a lot about this when we're doing the social media workshops for businesses in particular, because again, this is a site where a lot of individuals will go to read about businesses before they ever directly engage with your business, right? And so you want to have a presence here. You want to have your customers write reviews. Hopefully they're positive reviews, but even if they're negative, you respond to them. And what happens is about 200,000 calls are generated daily through Yelp, business calls. So again, people going through the Yelp directory, searching for your products and services, and then hitting the call now button that's on your listing when you're on Yelp. So it's a great way for you to generate potential calls. It directly impacts search engine visibility. I'm going to show you in the next slide what I mean by that. Yes?
Lisa from Deltona would like just real quick about engagement again. What things?
So that would be engagement is measured by how many people either like or share or retweet or comment on the content that you're putting out on your social media channels. That's how brand engagement is measured. You hear a lot about what they call impressions, right? An impression means somebody saw what you put on Facebook. All it means, or on a website or a social media platform, not just Facebook. So they saw what you put out there, but they never actually engaged with it. The engagement number becomes the next number. If they actually stopped and said, I am compelled enough by this content to do something, that's where you get your engagement. You also will hear that sometimes referred to as a click-through. You look for click-through ratios, right? And normally those ratios, they're about 1% out of everything that you do across the board. No one platform has necessarily higher, but again, it's getting somebody to stop what they're doing when they're scrolling through their feed, to then engage with your post, to then call you or message you or whatever call to action that you have. And we're going to get into these things as we roll through so that, again, you can go back and do this directly on your own. But what I want to bring up here real quick is I did a Google search, auto repair Daytona Beach, 500,000 results came back. And what's the impact of Yelp on search engines? Well, take a look at the fact that the #1 search result is the Yelp directory for automotive repair places in Daytona Beach. So I come on here as a user of Google, I type in my search. 75% of users that search Google don't go past the first page of Google. So they're looking at the 10 results, approximately, that come back, and they're going to go through these. And the very first one is Yelp. And when I click on that, the 10 best repair shops in Daytona Beach. If you're not there for your industry, that's a missed opportunity, because these directories have done such a good job placing themselves on the first page of Google, usually in the first or second or third slot, that is what ultimately will drive people back to your business, because they're going to click that, and then they're going to see who's listed there. They're going to look for your reviews. They're going to look for your pictures. They're going to look for your description, and then they're going to decide whether or not they're going to click on you. So it's extremely important. If you don't have a Yelp page set up for your business already, get it set up. Start getting some content out there, pictures, put your descriptions in, your hours in, your location in, and then encourage your customers to write reviews, because Yelp measures reviews as a way for how they place you in their list. All these little nuances that go on. Google says we got our own things that place you in our list. Yelp then says we got our own things that then place you in our list. But I guarantee you, if we go and do even more searches right now for other industries, you will find Yelp, YP.com, and other directory-related platforms will be right on the first page. So it's critical to be there. What you also have to know about Google, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, This is what you call the maps section, okay? And so you have to create on Google a business page for your location in order to show up, potentially show up in this area. They used to display 10 business locations. Notice what they've done. How many are there now? 3. It's very competitive. But this comes up based on the keyword search and my location of where I'm located. Through these devices, they know where I am, and they're able to pinpoint, or my IP address, they're able to pinpoint who should come back. So notice here that several reviews, very important. Keeping the content updated, very important. But the only way to be in this maps section is to have a business page for your location on Google and then to work to optimize it. Separate from that, you fall into now what they call the organic search results section. That is where the vast majority of people go to when they come on Google. Normally, you would see down the side here advertisements or along the top advertisements. The reason you don't on mine is because I, like most people, use an ad blocker. Right? It's very popular. And so paid ads on Google can be very effective, and that's a whole nother conversation and a whole nother seminar. But what I want you to recognize here is that the vast majority of people who are online are using ad blockers. So where I suggest and encourage the folks that I work with, focus on these 2 areas right here. This is where people are going. This is what they're clicking on. It's where you want to be. We good, Emily? Snapchat. I'm going to use this one. Anybody use this one? Okay, good. We got a few. Normally there's no hands that go up. So, and even my own, I will admit that Snapchat is sort of this new thing that I haven't become hip and cool like the rest of the population has. But it is the fastest growing social media platform that is out there. It's highly attractive to millennials. They are 1 to 10 second snaps that they call them that disappear. And so how do you use that as a business owner? What I found now, take them behind the scenes. How does your business run? What are the things that you do to make your product or service happen every day for the customers that you serve? That's a great way for you as business owners to show the rest of the world, you notice a 1 to 10 second snap, what your business is about. Or maybe you're celebrating a company anniversary and you very quickly have got your employees together, even if it's a small team, and you just do a quick rah-rah and show them, humanize yourself, right? You're not just a business. People want to do business with people. You can use Snapchat as a way to start to pull the curtain back a little bit on your business. Don't give away any trade secrets. I'm not suggesting that at all. But pull the curtain back and show people that, you know, you like to have a good time, you make a quality product, you provide a great service, or if you're out installing something, show them, you know, a little bit about what that process is like and maybe the quality that you bring to the table to differentiate yourself from other businesses. Okay, so now that we've talked about all the high-level stuff, let's actually get down to some nuts and bolts. So where to start? The first question I ask myself every time I sit down with somebody and they want to get engaged with social media, what are your goals? And that is different for everybody in this room, right? Some of us, brand recognition. Some of us, we're trying to decide, should we go in a certain direction with our business or another direction? These social media platforms can often be a great way for you to solicit feedback from a market that you want to serve to find out if you should even go in the area that you're thinking of going in. Sometimes when we're closest to our business, we sort of have tunnel vision and we think our ideas are the best ideas. And they are. I'm not saying that, but the consumer market that's out there is going to tell us whether or not the ideas that we have are great ideas. So you can use social media as a way to begin to gauge some of that feedback. Certainly for lead generation, which I think is the vast majority of us, but also the retention piece I talked about. Imagine engaging the customers that haven't been to your establishment or haven't used your product or service in a while. They're more likely to use it because they've already done business with you. So tell them that you're still there, that maybe you've got a special going on, or you're doing something neat and cool now, and re-engage them. Also the awareness piece. Maybe you're brand new to a new market, right? And you want to get out there and tell people who you are and what you do. You can use it there as well. Identify your goal or your goals. Step 1. Step 2. Who is your target market? This goes right back to that question of, should I be on every social media platform? No. If you answer this question right here, okay, that will tell you then what platforms you should be on. So what is the age of the individual or individuals that you want to meet? You probably know that based on your current customer base. It could be very broad. It also could be very narrow. And you might be saying to yourself, well, I know if I can get more 35 to 45-year-old individuals to come through my door, they're most likely to buy my product or service. They're most likely to pay for my product or service. You can hone in and really own that niche. But you got to ask yourself, based on your current data or who you're trying to reach, what is their age? What's their location? Again, a very broad question here. Some folks will say, I only want to attract customers that are 35 to 45 that live in Daytona Beach. Important to know, especially when you go back and you start purchasing some advertisements on social media, which, again, we're going to get into. And it can be multiple locations. Just know, too, that if you decide, well, I want to sell my product all over the world, you're going to need a completely different budget than somebody wanting to sell their product in 1 or 2 cities. The more locations that you add, you're now distributing the dollars that you invest in the advertisement over all of those different areas that you want to reach. So having 100 cities that you want to target with only a $100 budget, for example, is going to give you, approximately $1 per city. Whereas you narrow it down to 1 or 2, you have a lot more maximization opportunity in those 1 or 2 locations. The interest. Now, this is sometimes challenging, right? What are the interests of the customers that I want to reach? So you're developing a profile, okay? And you're saying, and we're going to get into this again, and I'm going to show it to you. You're saying, what are the interests of the customer that I want to reach? What type of books do they read? What type of music do they listen to? What events and activities do they like to participate in? Are they Democrat or Republican, right? There's a lot of different things that you can narrow in. Think about yourself, for example. What are the things you're interested in, okay? And you can work back from that to say, based on the age of the person I want to reach, the location of where they're located, what are they interested in? When you develop that profile, social media will become very, very powerful for you, and you will maximize the time and money that you spend on it. So step 3, another big decision here. How are you going to manage and do all of this? You're business owners. You're running the business. You're probably wearing 20 hats every single day, right? How am I going to do all of this? Sometimes an existing team member is the right answer. Even if they don't have an expertise in social media, certainly coming to training programs is an opportunity for them to educate themselves. Go to YouTube. There's a lot of training tutorials that are out there that talk about all the things that we're covering and many, many more. Maybe it's a new team member. Maybe you're outsourcing it. There's a lot to consider here. But again, you want to be informed on whatever route you go. There is a time investment with social media. It is not just a build it and they will come. I promise you that. All of these platforms that I just showed you earlier, they're all public companies. They have a duty to make money to their stakeholders, right, their shareholders. So they've all moved away from giving it away to everybody to really charging you in order to get to who you want to reach. So there is a significant time investment here, and I don't want to give that illusion that, it's just an easy thing to do, because it really isn't an easy thing to do. Okay, so how do I get there? So I've got this idea of where I want to get started, how I want to get started, what my goals are, who I want to reach, how do I actually start to do that? Coming back to the relevant platforms, and I get challenged on this all the time. Know who you want to reach, then decide the platforms you want to go after. For the vast majority of people, I find Facebook and Instagram to be the 2. So, and without knowing everybody's business, it's hard to make a generalization for everybody. But the work that I do with the clients that I work with, those are the 2 primary social media platforms that we use 95% of the time. Add a call to action on your website. You got to tell people that you're there, right? So you see on websites social media icons, or there's ways to draw in the feed. Put in your email signature. Find us on Facebook. Look at us on Instagram. Tell the world that you're out there, and find the other channels that you're already distributing content through to let the world know that you have this presence. Routinely provide meaningful content. Key point here. Notice that I'm not saying post multiple times a day. That's annoying. I'm being honest with you because it's the feedback that I hear. It's okay to post every other day. It's okay to post once a week. And there's things that we can do, and I'll show you, that will maximize the reach of only posting once a week. But you don't necessarily have to go in there and post every day or every other day or multiple times a day. I would submit to you that it's far more valuable to take your time and develop a piece of content that's really going to be worthwhile for somebody to stop and take a look at rather than just pushing out content to push out content. So take your time and develop meaningful content and then get it out on a regular basis. Don't let it go stale for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, and then somebody visits your page and notices that you haven't posted in the last 30 days. They might think your business is closed. Respond to the requests and comments. I hinted to this and talked to this about the reviews. Negative reviews are okay. Just respond to them. Hi, John, thank you so much for letting us know about the experience that you had. We're really sorry to hear that happened. Please call me at, and I'll take care of it, right? Turning that around, because we know that when somebody has a negative experience, they're far more likely to go write about it, and they're far more likely to then do what? Go tell people about it. And no matter what you do in your marketing, know that word-of-mouth marketing is still the most effective. Think about it in your own businesses, and when you make decisions on hiring people, word-of-mouth marketing is still very effective. So take a chance to, even when people write positive things, they say, man, I had a great experience. Emily, thank you so much for taking the time to write about your great experience with us. We hope you'll refer us to your friends or come back and see us again. So take the time to do that because it pays dividends. Trust me, it does. And you will set yourself apart. Please go look at some other social media pages from your competitors that are out there and see if they're responding to things. And if they're not, that's an opportunity for you to and set yourself apart from everybody else. It takes time, but it's time well spent. So analytics, as somebody that's a very data-driven person, I don't make decisions without data. Data tells me in many ways where I need to go to make decisions. So when you do things on social media, you want to look at what did people engage in what I just posted. If they did, why? If they didn't, why? There's some analytic programs that are built in that we'll show you too. Google Analytics is a very popular analytics program. They have a free version of that as well. That should be on your website. So you can actually go back and look at for the past 60 days how many people came to my website as a result of my social media efforts. How long did they stay on my website? What page did they exit my website from? Imagine knowing that you had 50 visitors come to your website, they all went to your contact page, but then they exited on that page. That tells you maybe there's an issue. Maybe your contact form is not working. Maybe the phone number for your business is listed wrong. Maybe something there is just not compelling enough to get them to contact you. You can make adjustments based on that data. So some insights, my experience, right? Again, I want to empower you to go back and do this and learn from the trials and tribulations that I faced, right, with clients. And it's sometimes been, a challenge to say, this didn't work. Here's why. We just spent time and money, your time and money, and here's why. But what I found is that with Facebook, it's limited organic reach. And what I mean by that is you go out, you make a post on Facebook, and you see what happens with that post. You don't put any paid monies to advertise through their advertising platform. You just put content out there. The organic reach is limited. And what you'll see on there is you'll see I have 1,000 followers on my Facebook page. It only reached 60 people when you made the post. That is because of the organic reach. Believe it or not, Facebook scans what you write, and they say it should go to me and not you, and it should go to you and not him. Okay, so they scan what we write, and they know based on what we've clicked on, the likes we've made, the comments that we've done, whether certain content should go to me and not you, or vice versa. So limited reach there. It's a pay-to-play platform. It's almost required. There isn't a single client that I either work with or advise or consult with when they're hiring other providers for these services that I say, if the social media program does not include money for advertisements, I would not sign up for it. I just would not, because all of these platforms have turned into a model where you have to put content out there, get a limited organic reach, and then put a few dollars behind it to then reach the real audience you want to get to. But my advice to anybody is that if you're thinking about putting together a plan, you've got the plan. How much budget am I going to put towards this every single month? If I'm going to hire somebody to come in and do it for me, is that vendor or provider putting together a plan that has both of those elements, the plan with dollars for advertising? If there's no dollars for advertising, my opinion, I wouldn't do it. Wouldn't do it. Facebook, best bang for the buck. They've got the largest audience, the lowest cost to reach that audience. It's where most people are. So here's a campaign that we did for this workshop, okay? And 79 people registered to participate. And we've got a lot of folks online, a lot of folks in the room. But we wanted to test this method. How many of you today are here or are online as a result of seeing it on Facebook? Anybody? Any hands go up? I know there's some, okay, because we asked you that question. When you registered for the workshop, we asked you, how did you find out about the workshop? And 40% of the 80 people, approximately, that are here said, we found out because of the social media campaign that you ran to tell us, okay? So what does that mean? To reach that 40%, we invested $100 in promoting this text with this event on Facebook, okay? That resulted in reaching 3,000 people. We had 63 folks engage with the event, meaning they actually stopped, read what we were talking about doing, and decided they were going to be going or they were going to be interested. 21 people stopped and clicked the link, which means from the impression that I talked about earlier, they engaged and then clicked through, okay? One new person started following the SBDC page. There were some comments, there were some shares. Shares are the hardest thing to get. They provide the most reach for your content, but they're the hardest thing to get. Think about why for a second. Because when somebody sees something online and they're compelled enough to stop and share it, what have they just done? They have validated that content that you put out there. It is the hardest thing to get, but the most effective thing to get. And there's ways that you can encourage people to share. For example, please share this post with your friends and family. You could actually put that in there. But if you also develop content that has real meaning to it or real value to it, people will be compelled to share it. And therefore, they have just validated the content that you put online with their network. What better, approval could you want? It's the best thing that you could want when it comes to social media. So I'm not just up here talking about this stuff. We're living it, and we used it today to get the audience that we have here. 40% of the participants found out directly because of this campaign. So it does work, but it takes time to come up with the right campaign. We had to develop who did we want to reach in terms of age, who did we want to reach in terms of location, what were the interests of those individuals, obviously business owners. So we put in there things like Elon Musk, things like Entrepreneurship Magazine, things like Startup Weekend. We put those interests into the profile to ultimately display this ad, right here in your Facebook feed. Any thoughts or questions there? Good. Twitter, I talked about this, big on hashtags, really like that if you can figure out how to integrate hashtags into the post that you're already doing. It can be very effective. You're drawing in a new audience that doesn't yet know about you, but they're following the hashtag, and that's what connects them to you. Live tweeting, I really like when you're at an event and you snap a photo or you say, hey, I just met a great speaker, I learned some new information. You're live tweeting while you're participating in maybe a social media workshop, or you're at a ribbon cutting event, or you're doing some networking. Twitter is good for live tweeting. It's very good for live tweeting. I highly recommend that you avoid automatic posting. You will hear there are platforms that you can use that you write a post and it sends it out to all these social media platforms. Certainly saves you time, but I'm going to show you on the next screen what it can do. And what it does is, and this just is a repeat of the same thing. It was the only nice way to format it. And I just pulled this, and I didn't, it's from a business, but you can't tell who. I didn't want to do that. But basically what happens is you're limited by that 140 character count, okay? So when you go and use an automatic platform to send your post out to all these different networks, what happens if the post that you just wrote is 200 characters? It's going to go fine on Facebook, it's going to go fine on Instagram, but it's going to hit Twitter, and it's going to do this right here. So it's 1 month of karate lessons, and his whole attitude has changed. Even his teacher has commented on how much he's what? Turn for the positive, turn for the negative. We don't know, because the fact they use an automatic platform, once it hit 140 characters, it stopped the rest of your post. So the community, the audience that you're trying to reach, your message really isn't getting across to them. So my recommendation, take the time to invest it in the right way. Measure twice, cut once, right? Don't use the automatic tools. Go on Twitter, log into your account, type your post out, Get it in 140 characters. It's okay to abbreviate. You'll see a lot of that as a way to keep it within the 140 character limit. But, otherwise that happens.
Question about
Yeah.
Joan from Ormond says, should you avoid auto posting on other social media or just Twitter, for example, Instagram?
Instagram.
I think that's a program maybe that does.
Yeah, okay. So there's Hootsuite. There's a bunch of them out there. You've heard of them. You see them a lot. They're very popular. Twitter is really the only one you run into an issue with once you go beyond the 140 character limit. But then again, you have to ask yourself, on Facebook, is somebody going to stop and read, a one-page novel? They're not, right? Average attention span's 8 seconds to catch somebody when they're on these devices. So you gotta spend some due diligence to really find out, okay, if I'm going to do a long post, maybe I create it as a blog, okay, with a link in the social media, but then the post that I actually do only provides a short segment of that longer blog post, right? So you're catching somebody's attention. They can decide right then, do I want to read more? If they do, they click the link, they go to the full post on your blog, which then takes them where? To your website. So they read the blog post and they see your services, they see how to contact you. There's a lot of different strategies that you can use. But I show this as a way for you to know what can happen when you use those automatic tools that are out there. LinkedIn, original articles. This is where, the industry that you're an authority in the industry that you're in. You know the industry best. Become that authority. Publish white papers, publish blog posts, distribute them through LinkedIn as original articles. One of the challenges here with LinkedIn, they do have an advertising platform. It's high cost. I mean, to reach professionals, it is high cost. But again, you might be saying, well, my investment of $250 a month on one platform, being LinkedIn, generates me $4,000 in business because I'm reaching the person that I want to reach. So that $250 investment might not be a lot in your situation. Again, hard to know everybody's situation, but you got to take a look at that. I highly encourage you at the base level, optimize your profile, your individual profile. As Michael Zaharias, and I'll show you what I mean by that right here. In this header, they have an area where you can put in some key descriptors about yourself. And so what they do is this search bar, if somebody goes up here and searches for entrepreneurship or economic development, LinkedIn will pull from that area. So when you set up your profiles, you want to set up areas where you have domain authority, where you're an expert. Put those keywords in there. Don't make it too long. You can't get everything in there. Keep it short and sweet, but they pull from, anytime somebody searches on LinkedIn, they pull direct. This is one of the areas they pull from. It's right there. So you can maximize your LinkedIn profile right now for free by just going back and taking a look at those keywords that you have in there. Instagram, that's for product companies. Again, you've got photos of your products. You're snapping them when they're coming off the production line. Maybe you get a shipment in from your contract manufacturer. You're able to take pictures right there of your product and distribute it out. I was just with Donnie's Donuts yesterday up in Ormond Beach. Great example of somebody that's leveraging social media and showing pictures of his donuts all day long, and people are they're loving it and they're eating it up in a digital way. It's just a great thing for him. So really cool to see that happening. What I love about Instagram too is it's the easiest to manage and develop content for because it is just pictures. Again, you got to use your mobile device, but you're right on spot. You're able to do it. Maybe you got your customer who just had a great experience. You snap a photo or a selfie with them. You put that out there with their permission, and you're good to go. Another nice thing, you are now able to, because Facebook purchased Instagram and owns it, the profile that you're creating for the target customer that you want to reach, you can actually select that I also want my ad to go to Instagram. So there's a way, because of the integration now between the two, where you can advertise on both platforms, and Instagram is pulling in the same data that Facebook has on all of us. So great way to reach folks. Yeah.
Talking about advertising on Facebook,
yeah.
little booth ads.
Yeah.
How do you even go about doing that, and who does it reach? Does it only reach people that are your friends on Facebook? How does Facebook?
It's a great question, and I promise you we're going to get into that. We are going to go through a live demo. This is the unique thing about the workshop that the SBDC and I discussed in bringing to the table. We're not going to just talk about 1 hour is this, the PowerPoint. Then we're going to stop for a few minutes. You take a break, stretch your legs, run to the bathroom, whatever. I'm going to reset. And my reset is going to be, I'm pulling up Facebook. And I'm showing you how to create your own page, okay, if you don't already have one. I'm going to show you how to set a username if you haven't done that yet on your page, show you a few other areas, and then we're going to go right into how to develop these campaigns. How do you create the profile? Who does it reach? Who doesn't it reach? What's the budget look like? What's the duration look like? You will be able to walk out of here and do that yourself. So I promise, give me just a few more minutes and we'll get there. So this is the saying that you'll see. It's one that I believe in immensely, and that is the strength of your social media is determined by the strength of your content. And that's what I talked about before. You don't want to just put stuff out there. Take the time to invest to put real, high-quality content out there that engages and connects with people. That will be what provides your return on investment. So what are some ideas? Okay, got the plan. I know my goals. I want to get out there and start reaching people. What are the ideas? And these are the same ideas that I use with the companies that I work with. Showcase your products and services. Tell the world about them. There's a lot of different ways you can do that. That's a great way to start. This is an automotive repair company that I do a little bit of work with. Every time they have a car in the shop, we take a picture of the car in the shop. We come up with a post. You drive a Corvette, check out this 92 C4. We just installed new fuel injectors, new brake master cylinder, new serpentine belt, and an oil change service. Website address and phone number right there. With a little bit of paid advertisement, that went out to 2,500 people. And this company gets calls all the time from people saying, I saw your post on Facebook. Go.
How long are they posting something like this? And wouldn't you kind of blow up people's feeds with the repetitive pictures of cars?
We post, with this company, we post once a week. Okay, we'll post on a Monday, for example. We'll then take the advertising budget of $50, let's say, and we will extend it for the entire remainder of the week, an additional 6 days. So what we did is we extended the life of the content, okay, by purchasing $50 in paid advertisements. What that did is the business owner is now able to stay focused on running their business for the remaining 6 days of the week, okay? They're not spending time developing more content for each of those days. The boost itself is set up to only spend a certain amount of money every single day, okay? So it monitors or manages how often it gets in front of somebody's face, right? So it's not a constant, repetitive thing. It will show up multiple times throughout the remaining 6 days, but it's not a every hour on the dot, it's in your face. So in this case, we got to about 2,500 people. And the nice thing is if we hit, and I can't right now because this is just a static screenshot, but if you hit view results right here, it will tell you all of the statistics that I showed you earlier for this event. How many people clicked on it, how many engaged in it, how many clicked the website, et cetera, et cetera. So with the cars, we post different cars. That's the other thing. It's not all Corvettes, right? So we'll have, very fortunately, this particular company, they work on a lot of different things. So you'll have some new late model stuff. You'll have some, muscle car era stuff in there. And believe it or not, it's just a way, a lot of people come from the muscle car generation. So now all of a sudden they see this, 67 Mustang GT, whatever it is, and I'm a big car guy. So it's like, I love it every time it comes on, and so do other people. They're like, man, I haven't seen a car like that in eons. And now they're seeing it through here. That's just one idea, right? So let me go back real quick. Let me show you. That was showcase your products and services in the instance of an automotive repair company. Obviously, different application for the industries and businesses that you're in, just an idea. Yeah.
Quick question there. The orange bar underneath?
Yes.
Is that organic versus paid?
Yes. Great question. So see the light orange that goes up to right about there? Goes up to right about there? If we hover over that, it will tell us how many people it reached organically. Once you go beyond now this darker orange, that is how many people it was reached because we paid to reach them. But notice what I mentioned earlier. My recommendation to everybody in this room is to not do a social media program unless you have a paid advertising budget associated with it. And I do mean that because it is very, very hard. You will spend time, you will spend resources, and you will be saying to yourself, why am I not getting the results that I want to get? Because the limited reach when you do it without a paid advertising budget, okay? Now, you have to decide, what threshold are you comfortable with? How much money do you want to put into this every month? And there is a minimum that I recommend But in order to get this out in front of 2,500 people, we had to pay $50 to get it out there.
One time or
One time. For this particular post. Now, we have a whole program, so every, we're several $100s a month is going towards creating content, putting the content out, letting it run for 24 hours organically, after 24 hours, initiating a sponsored campaign, a boosted campaign, where we say we're going to put $50 or $40 or $250, whatever number it is, towards promoting this because of why. We want to reach people that are not currently a part of this business, okay? We want to retain existing customers by letting the world know this business here is still doing great things, okay? And we want people to call or go to the website. So that's the call to action in all of this, is we've highlighted, several things. One, if you're into Corvettes or you have a Corvette, it's going to appeal to you. Two, even if you don't have a Corvette, now you know this business can do fuel pumps, brake cylinders, serpentine belts, oil changes. Who here drives a car? You need all of those things, regardless if you have a Corvette or a Ferrari or a Kia or whatever you drive, okay? So we're doing multiple things. We had to think, honestly, we had to really think about this, okay? And then, we're spending money, so it's in our own best interest to tell people how to get in touch with us. Because you have to think about the consumer. Think about yourselves for a second. You're seeing this on your feed. Do you want to have to stop and go to Google and, well, what's the name of the business, and did I get the right business, and to get their phone number, to get to their what? You don't want to do that. So you put that stuff right in here, and now all they have to do from right within the post is click to your website, or click. Most of them are active numbers, so you can just click on the number, especially with iPhones, and it'll call the business, right? You got to make it easy for the consumer, while at the same time maximizing. So.
Is this one of your companies?
Yeah.
Okay, because I know it's published by you. I'm thinking
because I'm the administrator on the account. I'm going to show you a few more. I do some work with a credit union. I do a lot of different companies that I'm working with. But this is one in particular. They do have a near and dear spot to my heart because this is my family's business. I run all the social media marketing for my family's business. And we have actually, I will tell you, Facebook, we only have one platform, it's Facebook. And we are moving to a point where Facebook will be the only digital marketing that we do beyond the website. So we will have a website that has a search engine optimization campaign associated with it to keep it up there in the rankings on Google. Okay. Beyond that, we canceled certain providers that were out there that were offering, directory services, and you can go online and look at who those folks are. And now we do just the website and Facebook, and that has been extremely effective. Please, I'm sorry, your hand's been up for a while.
Right, all right. Julia from Main Street Only Beach would like to know, does Facebook reserve the content to people who've already seen it organically? If you do a paid post,
yes.
Will they be seeing it for a second time, and how often is that?
Yeah, so I don't know the specifics of how often they will put that advertisement or that information back in front of somebody, but they do repurpose the content. So you might see it on Tuesday in your feed. You never engage with it. You just look at it. Then on Thursday, or you might see it again. On Saturday, you might see it again. So, yes, they do redistribute the content to the audience that you're trying to reach, especially if they haven't engaged with it. So if you've liked it or commented or shared on it, the likelihood that you'll see it again is a lot lower versus somebody that hasn't done anything. It will redistribute it.
Question about boosting a post like this. Now, obviously, Daytona Beach Auto Repair is a local business.
Correct.
If you're boosting this, how do you, and maybe you go into this later in your next segment, but how do you ensure that you're not boosting people in Nashville are seeing it as opposed to people locally?
Yeah, that'll be. We will go into that in the live demo. You can tell the system where you want it to go. And that's why I said earlier, when you develop that plan, you want to know, I only care about reaching people in this instance, okay, that are in Ormond, Daytona, Port Orange, New Smyrna, Palm Coast. So we only serve up, using that $50, this promotion to those 5 cities. But again, if your business is, and because of the customers you're talking to, maybe you're doing business outside the county, maybe you're doing business outside the state, what are those areas? Okay? You can say, I want to send to Orlando, Daytona, Fort Lauderdale, and Texas. And it will only serve it in those areas to the people that you say you want to get to, the age group, male or female, and the interest of those individuals. There was another question right behind you, too.
So if someone sees it like 5 times by event in a week, does it count as 5 people reached or is 1 person reached?
It will, I think it counts it as one person. Yeah. For this measurement right here, so it's what they would consider like a unique number. You would hear it in the Google Analytics world, it would be called uniques. So yes, it is a unique number. It's not a, you saw it 5 times, so they're putting you in there 5 times. There was another question. You can do it on other social media platforms. Yep. I'm sorry? Yes, you can do it on LinkedIn. And you see a lot of recruiters using it as a way to get employees. If you go on there, you'll see sponsored content come up. I mean, even think about when you're, how often do you see sponsored content come up? I mean, this morning I woke up, got on my phone, and I saw a promotion from the Museum of Arts and Sciences locally here. I'm not a part of their page or anything, but they did what I'm showing you. They developed the profile, they knew who they wanted to reach, and now Facebook, because of a little bit of money, is sending me that advertisement. What you're also doing here is you're keeping yourself top of mind with people. So think about, again, the things that you're doing in your business. You're not going to need necessarily automotive repair in this case every single day. But at some point you're going to need an oil change because you hit the mileage or the month period. Maybe you unfortunately break down or, have a leak of some sort. And then you're going to be saying to yourself, well, I need an automotive repair person, right? I might have somebody already. Maybe I'm not happy. I don't know what the situation is. But in this case, you're keeping yourself top of mind with people so that then when they do have that need, they're going to think of you. And that's true for every business that's in here, right? I will tell you, year 1, and we've been at this 4 years. 4 years we've been at this program, investing money long before people were really spending money on Facebook. It's really only been within the last 2 years that you've seen such a huge influx of businesses putting money towards advertisements. But we were really ahead of the game when it was a novel thing. And so, we've been at it year 1. We had a lot of traction. And it's only been within the last, I'd say, 2 to 3 years where people are, man, I see your stuff all the time online. I love what you guys post. We're calling you because we saw you on Facebook. And I'm very fortunate because I can beat the business owner up a little bit because it's my dad, but I force him, Dad, ask them how they found out about you. Whether they come into the shop or they do business with you or not, or just a phone call, how did they find out about you? That is your best measurement to know as business owners what is working for your time and hard-earned money. How did you find out about me? Whether they do business with you or not, how did you find out about me? And I repeat that and repeat that and repeat that. And when you make it part of your regular routine, it becomes natural. People are always willing to tell you how they found out about you, and you can be very smart and effective with your dollars. So that's just one idea for content development. The other thing is highlighting your employees and your clients. Let's say you have somebody come in and they're just ranting and raving about you. Can we get a quick snap of that, a quick video of it? Could we get a picture and then put a quote below it, right? You want to, there's no better testimonial than somebody else saying how great you are. So if they're willing to tell you that in person, ask them if we can put that on social media. Again, most of them are fine doing it, right? They want to do it. They want to help you. They're connected to your business. Maybe you've got an employee who's celebrating, a 1-year anniversary, a 5-year, 10-year, whatever it is. Highlight that person. Humanize yourself as a business owner. Think about us as consumers. We want to do business with people we know, people we like, people that we know are going to take care of us. They've got employees that are going to take care of us. Promote the heck out of that, and people will feel more connected to you, and they'll want to do business with you. They'll know you care about your employees. That's a big thing. Think about it. A lot of people want to know that where they're doing business, the money's going back into the company and taking care of the employees and providing more opportunity for the community. I mean, people are really connected to that. It's a big movement right now. So how did we do that? Well, Small Business Development Center. George came to me and said, how do we get more people to come to the Small Business Development Center? And I said, talk about the great clients that you already have that have received benefits from being a part of the Small Business Development Center. So we interviewed these local entrepreneurs. We asked them to talk about their company, their story, and how the SBDCs helped them. We took a few dollars, combined with the content that we developed. Notice what we've done here. We're promoting the SBDC. We're promoting the local business owner. We've tagged the business owner's page so that they're aware of it. We've done all these little tricks and things that can happen to maximize the effectiveness of this, and it went out to over 5,000 people. Okay? And the business owner was elated. New people are coming into the SBDC because they're seeing the testimonial of not George, not Emily, not Kevin, not Michael, who? The actual business owner that got value from being a part of the SBDC. So what value are your customers getting? Talk about it. Share it. Make it loud and proud. Of course, with their permission. Promote your happy customers. I've gone through that one. Share how you give back. If you're doing something with maybe homelessness, or at your church, or you're speaking at a youth group, or however you define your giving back, talk about that. Share that. Again, make people feel very connected to who you are and what you do. Example of that is a credit union that I work with up in Georgia. Every year they give away a scholarship application to graduating high school students. 3 students each get a $1,500 scholarship. And so, they were having a challenge. They were having a challenge getting it out there. And they were doing traditional email marketing, telling the teachers about it, and they just were having a hard time getting people to apply. So I said, let's put it on social media. Let's talk about how the credit union's giving back. Now more people want to come and be a part of the credit union. The people that are already there know that the money that they're putting in is going to more than just the institution. It's going back to serving people. Talk about that. And you can see here, again, notice, we've done both. Every campaign, every program that I'm a part of has got both in it. You develop great content, you put a budget behind it to get it out to who you want to get it to. So, 6,000 people, look at this, 73 shares. 73 shares. Why? It's a lot. That's a lot of people validating that this right here is a good thing, and guess whose name's all over it? Don't disregard the published by Michael Darius. Marshland Credit Union, the credit union that I work with in Georgia. Okay, their name's all over it. And 73 people said, we believe in this enough that we're going to validate it to, I might have 100 friends, you've got 500, you've got 2,000. I've just validated it to my whole network. So find out how you and your business can highlight the things that you might be doing for the community. If you're sponsoring something, I would promote that. Special offers, I highly recommend you limit this. You don't want to blast people with come by, the 1995 special, right? You don't want that to be the only thing you're doing on social media. And I would limit it to about 10% of your postings. Every once in a while, talk about a special that you're running. Just don't overwhelm that. The other thing you don't want to do is overwhelm it, because then people become used to expecting it. You're running promotions all the time. People wait for you to then run another promotion before they come and do business with you. So make it special. Google Analytics, I talked about this. If you don't have this on your website, get it on your website. Your developer, your platform manager, it should take them less than 30 minutes. Get it on your website, and it will give you valuable data. Valuable data. Google Business Page, this is free. This is what I showed earlier. Came up with the 3 locations in the what they call the Google Maps section. You have to set up your business page. There's a lot you can do there. Categories you can select. You've got to upload photos. There's a lot that goes into that page. But again, to start showing up in that area, you have to have this. Bitly, the URL tracker. I use this for this workshop. And what this does is it takes a very long URL and shortens it, and then tracks every time somebody clicks on it. So again, as a data-driven person, I want to know. We had online ads running for this workshop. We had flyers printed and emailed and distributed all over the place to get you all here. And on every single one of them, there was this link, bit.ly/social media February 24th. What happened as a result of that? 178 people put that in or clicked on it, and however they found it. So now we have a measurement of how many people actually used it, what were the highs and lows in terms of activity, and that was the original URL right here. So imagine having to tell somebody, go to anymeeting.com account manager /revv equals AXPX. Nobody wants to do that. Imagine putting that on your social media page. People are going to look at that and be like, why do I want to click a link that I don't even know what the heck that is, right? So the nice thing about Bitly is you shorten that link to this link, and what they allow you to do is you can actually customize the link. So I did, in this case, social media February 24th, because it tied back into what we were promoting. Come be a part of the social media workshop on February 24th. And now we're able to tell the SBDC, or I'm able to, that the activities that we did generated 178 people actually going and finding out more. There's 79 registered for the workshop today, but almost 200 went to look and find out what was going on. So we could have had even more potentially. Maybe it was a timing thing. Maybe it was a date issue. We can take a look at that at a later point in time. SurveyMonkey, you want feedback from your customers? SurveyMonkey is a great platform. 2 pieces of advice here. They give you 10 questions for free. 10 questions to use their service for free. You can buy packages that go beyond that. Keep your survey less than 10 questions. Time. People don't want to spend a lot of time filling out surveys. So keep it less than 10 questions, but it's a great tool to get some measurement. Collages, you'll see a lot of the stuff that I do collages. Sometimes, if you're uploading a photo album that's got 20 or 40 pictures in it, you need an album in that case because you have a lot of pictures. But if you're uploading 2 or 3 pictures, my recommendation and the things that I do are to put them into a collage. So now I'm not forcing somebody to scroll through 3 photos to see them. I put them in one collage photo that becomes one photo. It's a lot easier for somebody to look at that, stop and engage with it, than it is to get them to take 6 seconds, 8 seconds, 10 seconds to flip through 3 or 4 photos. So I use collages a lot. It's an app that you download on your phone. I think it was $2, and it's very effective. You buy the license for it. They don't put their ads on it or anything. And it's just a great way, again, when you're only posting 2 or 3 photos, create them as a collage. And that creates it as one photo with all 3 of them in it. You post that on your social media feed, and now somebody can stop and see all of it at once rather than having to click through each individual photo. But if you're doing something where you have 30, 40, 50 photos, maybe you held a big event or customer appreciation day, whatever it is, that's the instance where you need a larger album. Facebook has a weekly page update email. You have to sign up for this. Oh, yes. Yes. Great point. Yeah, and they're all figuring out, because what they're finding is people are more willing to engage with a photo when it's the one photo versus, again, getting you, the consumer, to take 10 seconds to scroll through 10 photos. So, even the platforms themselves are figuring that out as a way to drive more engagement. So the weekly page update, this is an email that comes as the page owner on Facebook. They'll send you an email that looks like this. This was an example of last week for the credit union. And again, data is very important. It will tell you a week-over-week comparison. So last week versus the week prior, and what the percentage increase or decrease was. And that's a measurement for you to know how effective or maybe not effective certain things are doing. It will also tell you how many people. So page visits are people that went to, in this case, the credit union's page. The weekly reach is how many people saw the content of the credit union. That's the impressions, 12,000 people. How many were engaged of the 12,000, 1,200. And how much growth in page likes. So actually people coming and saying, I want to receive the credit union's content on a regular basis. That's a percentage increase in the total number of likes to the page. But a free email, you just have to sign up for it. Of course, the boosted advertisements, which we're going to get into here in a couple of minutes. Every once in a while, we'll use call tracking numbers. You see that used. Again, it's sometimes, you're a situation where maybe you've got multiple advertising platforms that are out there, and you want to know, am I getting more activity or more calls coming from maybe things I'm doing with the yellow pages versus social media? I'd have one phone number on Yellow Pages and another phone number on social media. And then you can go into the analytics platforms of these and see, okay, based on this number, I got these many calls, which was the Facebook number. Based on this number, I got these many calls, and it was the YP number. Good way to track it. And again, those numbers are just, it's a number that consumer calls, but it routes to your business line. It's just a way to track calls that are coming through. Another program that I'm a part of is called the Virtual Entrepreneur Center. This is an entrepreneurship website, but what we allow business owners to do is to have their profile on the website, and we have worked very hard to optimize the profiles for Google searches. So it's a short story that talks about who you are as an entrepreneur, and again, you can go to fldec.com and sign up for it. But the optimization piece is what I want to bring to your attention. So a good friend of mine, Chris Heaven, who is up in Ormond Beach, he's newer to the community, has been big in consulting and doing a whole lot of different things in the technology industry, worked for some major companies. You know, he came to Volusia County and he was getting his name out there, trying to build, some reputation for himself and generate some new business. And I said, well, Chris, why don't I do this profile for you? Let's get your profile in the Virtual Entrepreneur Center. And he goes, okay. We sit down, we do the interview. He's got a nice headshot and story published on the website. And I said, give it a couple of months. Let's see what happens with search engine rankings. So last night, I went online and I Googled searched Chris Heaven, Ormond Beach. 250,000 results came back. The number 3 result for him is the profile that we did for him. And Chris will tell you, if you run into Chris, ask him where he generates the most leads to his website from. And it comes from that profile right there. So if you're a business owner, which I assume all of you are, and you want a free, notice that keyword there, free, short story about who you are and what you're doing, go to fldec.com. You can sign up. It's another program that I'm a part of. I got a colleague who works on it with me. And it's just, again, a great way to start to get you some visibility and some optimization. Google's FLDEC.com. It's an entrepreneurship website. And it's interesting, too, because, in this case, we're very fortunate. We landed above, Yelp. Notice what's here. Yelp, which is a business directory. Yellow Pages, which is a business directory. White Pages, which is a business directory. That's 3 business directories taken over what we can see on the screen right now. 3 of the 10. There's only 7 other listings on this page for this on the first page, which is where most people go, and 3 of them are owned by directories. So think about what I said about Yelp earlier. Make sure you're there. Also take a look at things like Yellow Pages, White Pages, and some others. Because they are driving a lot of traffic. Again, somebody goes in Google searches, they start clicking through these links, and they're hitting the directory links. They're seeing all your other competitors and you if you're there, or all your other competitors and not you if you're not there. So let's take a look at that. Ask customers how they found you. It's going to be the best measurement to tell you if what you're doing is successful or not. Posting schedule, this is what I use for everybody I work with. What I use right here, Monday through Friday, 8, noon, or 7. I do vary a little bit. Sometimes life happens, but this is what we try to stick to. And you got to think about it. Really think about it. People in the morning, they're taking their coffee break or whatever they're doing, and they're on their phone. Lunchtime, they're on break, they're on their phone. By 7, they're home, have some downtime. They're probably getting on their phone again. Also, through history of the work that I've done, I have found good response at these times. Not that other times can't be effective, and sometimes you get these sort of outliers. I'll post at like 11 o'clock at night, and for whatever reason, nobody can sleep that night like me. And, so everybody's up and everybody's on their Facebook or whatever they're on, and, they'll engage. But normally, typically, this is what I try to stick to. Yes, please.
The website that I found too, it's called Wintergreen. It analyzes your profile and it'll tell you the days and the times that most people are going to be active on their profiles looking at your. So that just helps me there, and then it'll send you alerts.
What was the name of that again?
It's called Wintergreen.
Wintergram?
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah, it's a great. Thank you for adding that to the conversation. So what's the budget look like? To get started, I would invest at least $100 a month in paid ads, develop 4 high-quality posts to kind of stick to that schedule that I talked about earlier where, you post on Monday, you let it run for 24 hours in the organic state, and then Tuesday you come in, you set up, the profile of who you want to reach, and you put $25 and you let it run for, 4 or 5 days. It's going to spend, approximately $5 give or take each day, and that's going to put your content out there. I would not recommend going lower than that. That's a baseline. And then from there, you could decide, well, I want to put 250. Okay, so now just spread 250 over your 4 posts. Again, because, you're going to be running your business, right? And social media, you'll find all of a sudden you get on there and it's like, holy, an hour just went by. Okay. Typically when you're doing it yourself, I would actually try to work on it on the weekend. I'll get to, just one second, I'll get to that. Work on it on the weekend, have it ready to go for Monday. Get it out there on Monday, okay? And then come Tuesday, start your campaign with whatever budget you want to set. Yes, sir.
Hi, Johnson. So the spread $25 is that an increment?
No, it'll be in increments. So you'll see, and I'll show this in a demonstration, that when I put the $25 budget in, so I've got 4 posts for the month. I'm going to use one for approximately each week of the month. I'm going to say the first week of the month, $25 goes to this post. It'll spend, if I set it for 4 days, it'll spend just over $5 per day. And once it hits that cap, it doesn't spend any more. And then it goes into the next day, it resets, and it keeps going. So you'll see all of that when we go through the live demonstration, how it breaks it down. But you can set whatever number you want to set there. But I'm also saying here that you can do yourself a significant service by, not necessarily having to be concerned with posting every single day or every other day, where under the programs that I manage, what I'm saying is take that content that you distributed on Monday and leverage it for the entire week so you can then stay focused on your business, okay? Rather than, okay, now Tuesday comes, I got to develop something else. Now Wednesday comes, I got to develop something else. Now Thursday comes, I got to develop something else. Time consuming. I mean, if you got, 40, 50 person staff, we're talking maybe different story. And it's not to say that every post you should do or every post that we do has a budget associated with it. Sometimes, we're at maximum for the month, but a client still wants a piece of content to get out. In that case, we have to run it purely organic and see what happens. But the challenge with that is I see a lot of times they just don't have the life that they do once you put money behind them. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through setting up the page, posting to social media, using the boosted posts, and where to review the analytics. And I have 9:27, so we are 2 hours goes by fast. I'm going to say 5 minutes, break, stretch, mingle, hang out, bathroom, come back, whatever it is. Give me 5 minutes to switch gears real quick, and then we're going to go through a live demonstration covering these things, and I will be happy to answer any questions or stick around for a few extra minutes in case we don't get to everybody. Hey, Justin? Yeah, nice to meet you, Michael. Thanks for being here. Thank you. Yeah.
Profile or like the advertising on the side.
Yeah.
And then also some others like student conference or go to the target market. So would you suggest that I advertise on a personal profile or?
What is your business? Oh, really? See, so for Snapchat, I would be using Facebook and Instagram for what you're doing, okay? Then with Snapchat, I would have my own profile, your profile, and I would snap the behind-the-scenes stuff. Hey, man, we're out there right now getting these deliveries out. Or we just loaded the van up. Check out how cool we are, whatever it is. Or here's the production line of all those meals together. Right, or are you doing the meals yourself, or going and getting them and then delivering them?
Yeah, we're going to pick them up from the restaurant and deliver.
I mean, even if you just, I don't know if this is allowed, but you pop over the top of Snap, you have to snap. Look how amazing this food is from, Mike's Pizzeria, right? And that's your Snap. Your Snap.
Mine is Justin, not mine.
Yes.
Is like,
I think you could really go either way. I really do. But if you have, you have strong following already on Snapchat, why not just leverage that, for what you're doing, right? So I think you could really go either way. But if you're going to have, it's like with every platform, you have a more difficult time getting people to be a part of the business side of it, right? The personal side is very easy. You start friend requesting people or following people, and now they're a part of your network. The business side, they have to opt in, right? They have to come to your page and say, hey, I want to be a part of Justin's food delivery service. Then on Facebook, I want to like this Facebook page. On Instagram, I want to like this Instagram page. So my suggestion is on Facebook and Instagram, when you have business pages. On Snapchat, you have an individual page.
okay.
And let what you're already doing sort of be the life of your company through your personal page. If it gets to a point where you got to have it, switch it out, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. But I think you have that type of thing is great for this. It really is for social media. Some businesses, it's really hard. Like in my business, social media, what do I put out there? It's going to get people to engage with me on Facebook. What behind the scenes do I really have to do Snap? I don't. So it's very hard in the marketing industry to use social media for our own business development purposes. But in the type of business that you're in, I'm always getting over to the pictures. Promote the service of what you do. So I talked about that 10% special. Promote what it is. How do I get in contact with you? What do you offer? What's the radius that you cover? Buy some paid advertisements. Start getting that. The nice thing about Facebook too is now when you go and create a Facebook campaign, you just hit a button and say Instagram, and it'll go to Facebook.
Yeah, we're going to go to Instagram. I just made the Facebook page, and I'm learning. A lot of people are like, yeah, I kind of got it.
We're covering a lot. I mean, this is a very fast workshop. We could dive deeper on just Facebook for probably the whole rest of the day. I wanted to at least get some flowing and get some ideas of what they could be doing. And
I appreciate it. I got to get to work. Yeah, break week, and you know where I am.
Yeah, you guys are going to be really busy.
All right.
But thanks, Karen. Take care. Facebook and Instagram, they'll eat it up on you. I'm telling you right now. And then you're going to wind up, when you're serving, students right now, it's your primary target market, that's what you say, you're going to wind up finding people who are young professionals. You're going to wind up finding people who are, working professionals. Maybe they don't want to have to leave to go to lunch.
Yeah, that's what
you come in. Yeah, man. So you just got to figure out, what am I going to promote? How am I going to promote it? Who am I going to promote it to? And then what's the amount of money that I can put toward doing it? And that's why my recommendation has always been, if you put together a social media plan, make sure it's got advertisements associated with it.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's not that you can't do well without it. In some instances you can. It's just really hard. Really hard. And that's where you see, you'll do a post and it'll only go out to 20 people. 20 people. And nobody saw it, nobody really engaged with it. And you're like, how am I going to get to the whole rest of the world? That's where the money is going to come in.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, listen, anyways, let me know what you need. How are you?
Yeah. Are you going to have the slides available, or this is going to be?
There will be a downloaded copy. We'll probably send it out via email.
I don't know if you're ready to ask these.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to stick around, and actually it's 39:30. We have a lot to cover. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the auto road repair one. This is just a good one because it's easy.
What do you think about things like I'm putting money out for the story?
Oh, no doubt. Yeah. Yes. No, absolutely. The thing about like Facebook video is they've actually gotten in a lot of trouble because they were inflating the numbers. So what they were doing, the views numbers, you'll see like a video that's been viewed like, how many times. And what they were doing is they were counting a view after 3 seconds. So you can really, 3 seconds, you can barely see anything. Well, it automatically starts, you look at it for 3 seconds, and then you scroll past it, that's a view. So you're like, oh well, man, I got like 20 million views. I must be the superstar. Mm-mm. You know, the real reality is you might have had 1 million. Okay, so they got in a lot of heat for kind of, you know, fluffing the numbers. I mean, it's to their own benefit because, you know, they were able to count those as views. But so now they're going back and they're sort of resetting, you know, that program. But you know, I think if you can develop, if you got to get somebody to stop and watch something for 10 seconds, you got to make their name good. You know what I mean? Like it's better. Otherwise, they're gonna, next time they see it, your name, they're not going to stop. They're going to scroll right past it. And it's not that every single one of them has got to be just, you know, 100% perfect, but you're getting people to try to stop and take their time to do something. You got to be respectful of that. And so, you know, make it valuable for them. Make it memorable. And then your phone will be ringing, people will be emailing you, and you'll be like, holy shit, you know, what happened? Yeah, it's because I really like what you put out there. So that's the challenge that you got to figure out, is that balance between, yeah, I got to get stuff out there, but can I take the time to really do it right? Right. And when you really do it right, that's when people start engaging. That's when they start sharing. They tell other people about you. You know, and then it's just taking on a life of its own. And who knows? Maybe you'll be at that 20 million mark. And I'll be like, hey, I knew that guy.
Someone be mad at
yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. So I think we're going to roll back in, but I'll have to chat with you afterwards, too. Awesome. Yes. Am I doing all right, Christian? Okay. Any more questions coming through?
Not right now.
All right. Got about 30 minutes. It'll take a while. So what I want to do is I want to go through that live demo. This is a unique thing to what the SEC and I decided to do for this type of workshop. Typically, you would see just the PowerPoint and some information and have at it. But we want to actually take you through it. And I want to start with using, you know, the online repair one because I think it's a good one. It really is a good one. And so let's say, how many don't have a Facebook page for their business? Does anybody not have a page already? Okay. So I will go through where to go. Do that. So you log into your personal Facebook. Okay. Over here, let me make sure I got all my technology with me. Right here, there's a little drop down. Click on that. You'll see an option that says Create Page. You'll create the page. Select the option to create page. From there, it's going to ask you what type of page do you want to create, right? If it's a brand or product, a company, an organization, or a local business. If you have a physical location, you're going to select the local business. Then it's going to ask you the category, the name, the address, the city, the phone number, so forth and so on. And then it will allow you to create that page. When you create that page, you'll go back to your home, where your newsfeed is at. Again, I'm still on my personal page. And you'll look down the left side of the screen, and you'll see that page that you created. Okay? I've got a lot. So mine might be a little bit longer, but it'll be there. And what it will look like, let me show you real quick. This is a nonprofit page that I have that I'm working on launching. So this is what it looks like when you go through the prior step that I just went through. It's a blank slate, okay? But the page is there. Notice that there's no icon, there's no banner image. If we go to the About section, there's nothing there. You have to go in and fill in all of that pertinent information about your company, your nonprofit, whatever it is that you're doing. Also notice that it gives you a URL, facebook.com/Innovate Daytona with all these numbers, okay? There's a way to set that URL, and it's important that you pay attention if you haven't already set that URL to actually setting that URL, and I'm going to show you why in just a second. So let me jump over to the automotive repair page. Yeah, please.
When you said that you said that you're going to cover it, I'm just wondering, are you going to cover the fact that I've got about 5 of these, but they all have the numbers and everything?
Yep. I'm going to show you how to change it.
Nobody'd ever be able to find it.
Have you been in this before?
No. But I've been wondering what the world is supposed to do.
We'll take care of it right now. Does anybody else have that challenge? Look, okay, we'll take care of it right now. Right now. Yeah, please. No. You have to have a personal Facebook account. You as an individual. Then you go down to that drop down over here, say create page. From there, select what type of page and go through the prompts that they will give you. Once you've done that, you will then have the page listed over here in your navigation bar, or you can also use the search bar and search for it. That's an option too. But once that page is there, you click on it. Now I'm inside the page, okay? So you saw previously that there was this long URL with all these numbers, okay? And you're right. The point to that is, do you want to tell somebody that URL? No, you don't. Also, what if somebody wants to tag your page? And what I mean by that is, when they go in here and type something, they can use this @ symbol and they can say, let me just pull up a page that I know. When I use that @ symbol, I'm now calling the Facebook system to say, I want to notify and tag another page that's on Facebook. So if I use this @ and select a million pictures, for example, notice what it's going to do. It highlights it. So that's now an active link on Facebook to a post I'm about to view back to million pictures. So somebody that sees my post can click that and go to million pictures, or million pictures will be notified that you just did a post about them. Okay? So that's the @ symbol. But the same thing is true for then your page. So if you haven't set this URL at the top, which also coincides with this right here, where it says @British American Auto, that is how someone else would tag or find your page on Facebook. Okay? So if you have the long URL, they can still do that, but it's not as effective. The way to set it, go to About, right here, General. It says username. I can change it right now. And you can change it, and everybody else can change it.
Okay. So go About and brings that up and you can change it there?
Yep. It's not as hidden as it once was.
Okay.
It might also be placed a little differently if you selected a different type of page. When you created your page, if you have a nonprofit or if you have a brand or a product or a cause, it could be in a slightly different location. It is 9 times out of 10, though, inside. Oops, I'm sorry. Apologize for that. It is 9 times out of 10 under the About section, and then you're looking for username. Hit Edit, put your username in, hit Create Username. It will also tell you if what you're trying to use is already taken. Okay?
That's another problem. What if I own the domain, but what if somebody's using your domain name already in Facebook to create the page?
That's actually against Facebook's policy. So if somebody has ownership of a page that technically represents your business, you would need to get in touch with them, and they will figure out how to do some ownership swapping. But you also got to watch out for, is it spelled the same? I mean, is it exactly the same? Because you're seeing a lot of people use numbers in place of letters. You got to look at the devil's in the details when it comes to those things. No, this is just that's in there already. But what they're saying is, when you go in here, you're going to see, for those pages that have the long URL, you're going to see that long URL. Okay, you're going to take all that out. The @ symbol is still going to be there. It's stationary, and then everything from the B over, in this case, is what you would be setting your page name to, which is also, look right up here, British American Auto, British American Auto. Look right here, British American Auto. It all ties together. Now, what you have to be careful about is this. Let's say you've already put links out there using the long URL. So maybe you posted something somewhere or you're linked somewhere with that long URL. It will redirect it, but your brand will be inconsistent. So my recommendation would be to make sure that you go back to anywhere you have used your Facebook link before and update that URL, because it will actually be different.
Orange. How do I find out what kind of page my company is? I made it so long ago, it didn't ask me when I created it back then.
That is a great question. I would need to see the page. If he can, if he'll put the page in, I'll get to it. Because I want to be mindful. We got 15 minutes and still a lot to go through. Okay, so we good on usernames. Everybody okay with that? And I'm not saying that you have to go back, like 10 years in history and redo all these. I'm not suggesting that. But if you've got in your email signature a link that goes out to your Facebook page or any of your social media, and you change that username, go to your email signature, hit the edit hyperlink, and change it to the correct link. Or on your website, if you've got icons, update those icons. It keeps your brand consistent. Okay, so now there's a couple of things here. There's a button on your page that you can set up. This is a button where you can do a lot of different things. Let me show you the different types. No, that's not going to be the right one. This button here is meant to be like a call to action, right? And so they will allow you to install a contact us, learn more about us, shop with us. If you don't have that set up, all you have to do is go to your page and it will be there for you to set up. And you can set that to whatever you want it to be. Definitely make sure that that is there because people see that when they're on their phones and can directly call or engage with you that way. Let me go to the home real quick. So this is the home page of your business page. And they give you a few things when you're an administrator. You can see some trends in your analytics. You can see your reviews. You can begin to see your photos. But then they start to show you the post. So this is a post that I did last night as I was preparing for today. And here's what happened. So I went a little bit outside my normal schedule because I wanted to be able to demonstrate and show you today what I'm talking about with organic reach and then paid reach. Notice that it says 77 people reached here. I haven't put a single dollar toward promoting this information. And the page currently has 1,633 followers or likes. So only 77 of the 1,600 saw this post. Okay? So notice why my recommendation to all of you is build programs or hire people that tell you they will have both with them, meaning we're going to help you with content, but we're also going to help you with buying ads to promote this information. Okay, so let's say you want to buy an ad, right? What does that mean? How do I do that? So after I've made the post, let the post run 24 hours on organic, meaning no money put towards it, see what it does, come back and hit this little boost post button. Okay, and this window is going to pop up. Now what I'm going to do, and you will not see this unless you've already created this, but I have a number of profiles already associated with the campaigns that I'm running. So once I've set it up once, I don't have to go back and set it up again unless I want either a different audience that I want to reach or I want to change things. So what you would see is this button right here, Create New Audience. You'll click on that. It will ask you to give the audience a name. So let's call it, in this case, Auto Repair Test. It will then ask you, do you want to reach men and women or just women? You will know that based on who you want to reach and what you came up with in the plan that we worked on earlier. Let's say we'll leave it for men and women. Here's where you would set the age range. Again, who's most likely to buy your product or service? You want to put that in there. Here's where, and it's because I've done it so many times, it's pulled in the locations that we use. But you can also say, just by simply clicking Add Locations, let's say Fort Lauderdale. Notice, too, that now you see this radius, okay? So on Daytona, New Smyrna, Ormond, and Port Orange, we have no radius. We want those ads going to people who have said they live right in those cities with no radius beyond that. but they do allow you to set a radius. So maybe you want to get to people in Fort Lauderdale, but you're okay with a 25-mile cone outside of Fort Lauderdale. Your content will now be distributed in that cone. Or you could set it to 0, or you could set it to 50. Okay? Anywhere in the world. Facebook is global. I mean, I've been at this a while. Again, we adopted these principles long before, the players were the big boys, your Chevrolet, your GM, and your Procter & Gamble, those, and they still are, don't get me wrong. But for small business, I started studying this stuff, and I'm like, wait a second, there's an opportunity right here. Do you realize that every time, and it's scary to think about it, I can't believe I'm going to say it, but I'm going to say it. Every time we click on something online, it's tracked. If you're carrying one of these, and even if it isn't an iPhone, guess what? It's tracked, okay? So they know a lot about us. And what these tools allow you to do is say, I want to get to you because I know that Facebook knows a lot about you, okay? So, and I will tell you that coming in now and doing it is a whole lot easier than it was 4 or 5 years ago when we first got started. This stuff was all over the place. There was really no good guide on how to do this and why you should do it. So a lot of it's been trial and error. And again, one of the first things I opened with was giving back to you all, right? Empowering you to go and do this on your own. I care about people, and I care about people being successful. So I'm showing you the exact things that I do, my trade secrets right now that I do every single time I go out and do this for somebody that has hired me to do it for them. So you set your location anywhere. But remember, if you go in here and you say, I want a $100 budget and I want 100 cities, the reach is not going to be as great as if you figure out what are the real 10 cities where customers are that are driving my business. And that's why start today by asking people, if you're not doing it already, how did you find out about me? Where are you located? If you're not putting their information in to a computer system, you need to know where your clients are coming from. Or if there's an analytic program running on your website, if you're web-based, see where people are coming into your website from. If you're getting a lot of traffic coming out of California, well, maybe it's time to start running some ads in that area to increase the volume of business. And again, I'm making some comments right now, not knowing every business that everybody's in, but these can be applied to large, small, any size business. Okay, so got the location. Then interest. So in this case, for the automotive repair company, these are the interests that I have come up with through my research to target the people that we want to reach, not only based on their age, but based on the location and based on what they are interested in. Meaning, if they have, if they're interested in Daytona State College, we want to reach students who have gone to Daytona State College. Thank you, Emily. Who have gone to Daytona State College or have liked the Daytona State College Facebook page, we can target them. If people are a fan of Elon Musk, we can target them. Embry-Riddle, if they're a fan of Ferraris, Ford or Georgia Line, we can target them. So we came up with this profile, and we said we want to reach, when we send out the automotive repair content, we want to reach these people. And that's what we did. This took time. I'm not going to lie to you. This took a lot of time. I did a lot of sort of self-reflecting and trying to understand what are the things that I'm interested in. I happen to be a car guy. I grew up in that world, but I want to know what are some things I'm interested in to help build these profiles. I also went online and did some Google searching to see what other people are interested in. I also went on Facebook and looked at some of the most popular pages that are on Facebook, okay? Because you can reach people that way as well. So you got to come up with this, right? You got to come up with that. Yes?
You're saying if I put a lot of places in there, then I'm getting less exposition time.
Yeah. The number of impressions is what would be impacted. You're dividing your budget over 100 cities versus over 10 cities, right? So the smaller number of cities that you have, the more times your content is going to be distributed to the audience that you're trying to reach. Whereas if you've got 100 cities, it's less distribution because you have more to cover. Yep. Yep.
It also gives it something organic or something.
That organic number is based on how many people are a part of your page. So when you see the number, 1,600 likes, these are people who have opted in your page to receive your content. But what Facebook, bless you, what Facebook has done is they have limited how many people you can get to. So this number reflects, of the 1,600, how many people saw this post right here that I did at 11 o'clock last night without spending any money.
Is that related to your edge score with Facebook?
No. This is related to, it's related to time. It's related to what I wrote in the post. Remember that I wrote, told you earlier that Facebook will scan the post and say it should go to you but not me, and it should go to you but not him.
Does it actually know that that picture has gone in front of the 77? In other words, is it watching screens and stuff? I mean, because nobody's clicked on it. I mean,
3 people engaged. 1, 2, 3.
well, no, I didn't mean nobody. I didn't mean.
No, it's
what
okay.
I meant was that 77 people may have just seen the picture.
Correct.
In other words, this technologically, they actually know that you went past the picture.
Yeah. Oh, they do. Yeah, absolutely. That's how they're then reporting back to us as business owners. Now let's go to the post that I did below it. Okay. So here's another one. This was a post I ran on February 13th. Again, doing a little bit different car. Your point earlier. Also a different type of post. So starting the day off with full service oil change and vehicle scan, including printed report for the customer on a 2015 Captiva. Still put the phone number and email address in there. But this one, we put, see, I'll show it to you. So here's what we did. We spent $40. It reached 1,100 people. Of that 1,100, 109 engaged in it, meaning they stopped, they looked at it, they clicked the photo, they clicked the link, they liked the photo, they commented. They did something other than scroll past it. That's engagement. Okay?
So they actually know that it's kind of like stopped at the picture,
Yep.
as opposed to just.
Correct. They know that you're looking at it. This is the looking at number. This is, and I don't want to get too technical. This is the impressions number. Advertisers and service providers count this. Every time you look at an ad, it's counted as an impression. Okay? Whether you clicked on it, whether you called, whether you shared, whatever. Impression. The moment you saw it, impression. From that, how many people actually acted on the ad that you put in front of them? That is engagement. Okay? So if 1,100 people that saw this, 109 were compelled enough to stop and do something. They either shared it, they commented on it, they liked the photo, they clicked the link, and the analytics show us that for the $40 that was spent on this promotion, 9 people clicked the photo, 3 people clicked the link to the website, 94 liked it, 1 person commented, and 2 persons shared. So it tells us right there what happened with those dollars. Now, our job is to then go back and see the people that shared it and commented it, and what did they say, okay? Also to ask, somebody calls, how did you find out about me? Again, I keep bringing that up because it's a critical thing. You want to know, I saw your ad on Facebook. Now, you're going to say, where I just spent my time and my money is effective when you hear those things. But if you don't ask, you don't know. And 9 times out of 10, people don't just tell you that, to ask them that. That's why it's critical that you do that. Now, again, sometimes you'll see, and I'll take you through one more. I'll take you through another one.
It's only available to you because it's your page.
Correct.
Everybody else doesn't get the view of the analytics.
You get the view of the analytics as the page owner. As the page owner. But I can't go to your page and see your analytics. You can see them. So let's just go back one more post that we did here. Again, we spent $40. Look at the difference this time. Same $40, same market, different week, different car, little different post. 1,400 people reached this time instead of 1,100. Little higher engagement at 180. Look at how many people this time. There was only, I think, 6 photo clicks, 41 on this one. 6 people clicked through to the website. 1 person liked the page. 124 people liked the photo, 7 comments, and 1 share. So we go back and we look at this and we say, okay, what was different? Maybe, the car. The Land Rover was obviously a little bit more attractive than the Chevrolet, and that got people to engage in it. Honestly, that's part of it. Maybe part of it is what we wrote. Maybe part of it is what time of day we posted it, right? Or the week in which we ran the campaign is really what I should say. Yeah. It doesn't tell me right there. It will tell me right here, though. I posted it February 2nd at 9:05 a.m. Yes, sir.
When I post on Facebook to Instagram together, does it keep the same audience?
Yes. So the advantage of Facebook buying Instagram is that all these tools that I'm showing you right now and all the data that they know about us, you can apply that to Instagram as well with 1 click. Okay, so when you go in here, I want to go to the one where I can actually boost it. So I have not run a campaign on this one right here. So when I go down here, where is that? There should be a checkbox in here. And it's not showing up right now. But there is a checkbox in here that says run on Instagram as well. And you click that, and it will send it to Facebook and to Instagram automatically. So you don't have to go back and then redo that on Instagram. They don't even give you the option to do it on Instagram because Facebook owns it. But it's normally right in that area. I'm not sure why it's not showing up. But one of the things I want to show you is that after you have this audience created, so you've gone through all those steps, got all that set up, it saves it under whatever you named it, and I've done this a lot, so mine is already there. Then you'll scroll down, and it'll say, what's the budget? So how much money do you want to put towards promoting this piece of content? Okay, let's say it's the 25. Come on, go in there. Hang on a second. There we go. I have the lock on. So 25. Notice what's going to happen. Real quick, it's going to say estimated reach based on $25. I have found it always it tends to lean towards the lower end of the spectrum. What I found. You bet on about 1,700 people seeing the post impression. Okay, now how good the post is will drive engagement. Okay, so that's where you spend time to build good quality because you want to get good engagement. Then it will ask you duration. So do I want to run that $25 spend for how long? Well, if I run it for 14 days, which I would never recommend doing with that low of a budget because you're only going to get $1.78 spend per day. That's not enough. The minimum, I don't even like this number as a minimum, $5 per day. What I tend to stick with at a minimum. And usually I try to go for 10 or above. Because you've got a lot of things competing for eyeballs. Think about, I mentioned this morning, Museum of Arts and Sciences, and there was one more that came up in my feed. And that was just 2 in like a 5-minute period that I was on Facebook. So when you go on your Facebook and you're looking on your mobile device, stop and look and see how much stuff says sponsored. The only way it's showing up there when it says sponsored is they're paying for it to be there. They have developed what I just showed you and are targeting you for their promotion. Okay? So the minimum I would recommend here would be we'd probably would have to run it at 5 days. So we go to the first. So if we launched it right now and we spend $25, for 5 days we'd spend $5 each day, and in total, for that $25, we'd reach approximately 1,700 people. Yep, not 1,700 per day. Total for $25, 1,700.
It's valuable. And it can be done relatively easy. not easy. Doesn't this kind of like take away a lot of the advertising agency work?
I would very humbly submit to you that this is not easy. But we have done.
I just think easier than years ago.
This is, there's a lot of ways to reach people. And this is why I do not discredit any advertising agency or platform in which you can advertise, because when you're trying to reach a specific customer, you have to know where that customer is and where they buy from and the things that, what they're reading in order to get information and make decisions. And so newspaper can still be very effective. Radio can still be very effective. Social media can be very effective when you know where your customers are, okay? Now, I will tell you, as someone who is in social media training and education and consulting, I do not advertise on Facebook because my industry is extremely hard to develop content that will get you to engage to call me. Did you know what I'm forced to do? I need to get in magazines. I need to get in the newspaper. I need to get in front of all of you, because that is what is effective to get you to do business with me. So that's the challenge that you face as business owners, where you have to decide, okay, I've got limited resources, I've got limited time. Where am I going to go? Social media is certainly a vehicle to do it, and we've had a lot of great success. But I'm the first one to tell the folks that I'm working with, this is not an end-all, be-all, okay? Let's be very clear about that. It's not a you build it and they will come. Let's be clear about that. And I'm going to be honest enough with you to tell you whether I'm the good fit for you or something else is. So that's, my recommendation to whoever you're dealing with is they should bring that quality to the table. And if they don't, I would be concerned. Yes, I know there's some questions. Please.
Kyle from Ormond wants to know, for content, what can you recommend for an industry that isn't sexy, such as insurance? Everyone needs it, but it's boring. How do you develop content for that?
So the insurance industry, what I would recommend doing is what we did here today, okay? I would use social media to put on a free workshop on what you need to know about insurance. And I would create an ad campaign like we did for this workshop that I showed you earlier in the presentation, and I would spend $100 to $200 to $250 on getting as many people to fill the seats that I have available. Because how many clients do you need in the insurance business for that $250 to be returned or that $100 to be returned in order for it to be effective for you? Okay, I don't know that answer. I know that answer for my business and my industry. You all know that answer for your business. So insurance, like the financial world, there are some rules and regulations. You can't just go sort of no box and do whatever you want to do. There's restrictions. And so my recommendation to that individual would be to host a workshop and use social media as a way to draw people into that workshop by creating an event and then engaging face-to-face with those individuals. So there's different spins. Notice that I didn't say go and promote, well, we're running, this special on you getting your insurance. Maybe one thing that he might be able to do is to put a reminder out there that the open enrollment period, for example, is coming to a close, when it's coming to a close, and put a sense of urgency inside of people's minds, which then result in them calling him for advice or for review or for anything that he might offer. And I'll be happy real quick to do a few more of those if anybody's got any. Come, throw it out. It's been so long since I had to do that. It actually is under, I remember. So cancel promotion, go back to home. There should be right here, ads manager.